Robertson had some surprising commentary in response to the police shooting of Dante Wright in Minnesota. That was the cop who somehow mistook her gun for her taser and accidentally killed Dante Wright. She's now facing second-degree manslaughter charges. But Pat Robertson is not going along with the right-wing narrative on this. Let's hear what he has to say.
Now, how she made the difference was she shot that poor guy to death, saying, "This is what I thought. This is what I thought was my taser." And if you can't tell the difference in the feel of those things, it's crazy. Anyhow, she deserves. But I am pro-police, folks. I think we need the police. We need their servants, and they do a good job. But if they don't stop this onslaught, they cannot do this. The police in Virginia picked up a lieutenant in the Army and began to give him trouble. And our state police are highly trained. But why they don't stop this? And this thing is going on in Minnesota, but the Derek Chauvin, they ought to put him under the jail. He has caused so much trouble by kneeling on the death of George Floyd. It's just, on his neck. It's just terrible what's happening. And the police, why don't they open their eyes to what the public relations are? They've got to stop this stuff.
Maybe they need more training.
Is Pat Robertson repenting for his sins? That is not something I would have expected from Pat Robertson. But I think the video evidence of excessive force has become so overwhelming that you really have to be a dishonest actor to pretend like policing in this country isn't an issue. Especially since in the Minnesota case specifically, you have the now former police chief admitting that the wrongdoing was carried out by the cop, who has also stepped down and is facing second-degree manslaughter charges. Cenk.
Yeah, wow, what is happening to Pat Robertson in his old age? My dad got way more progressive as he got older, defying the Winston Churchill quote, which never made sense in the first place, if you ask me. But apparently Pat Robertson, following in his footsteps, he woke up from a nap and became woke. So it actually kind of but it did something ironic for me watching that. I got a little depressed because I think we might have gone backwards. I think there might have been so it's not like there wasn't racism in the past in America. There's terrible, terrible, terrible racism, right? But we might have had this brief period where maybe things were getting a little bit better, and so and then it got worse again. So I feel like Pat Robertson got frozen in that time. And in that time, they still hated gay people 100%, 200%. That's why Pat Robertson's awful on that stuff, right? But he's like, wait, I didn't think we were supposed to hate black people. Why are we killing them? I don't know why the police are killing the black people, right? And so he seems genuinely confused as to why we're doing this to other human beings. It's oddly Christian of him. So I'm having trouble making sense of it. And let's be honest, on a lighter note, as he was playing with the gun and the taser, we were all on pins.
Oh my gosh, right? No, panic, absolute panic. But okay, so that goes to a point that I've made in the past, but I want to reiterate it now. Perfect opportunity. Oftentimes we talk about gun legislation in the extremes, right? Like the right doesn't want to do anything about it. And then I think the left gets mischaracterized as wanting to ban all guns, as if there's no proposal in between. And I've said that I am not in favor of banning guns. I don't think that makes sense, but obviously I want robust legislation to ensure that guns don't end up in the hands of the wrong people. But I also want legislation that forces gun safety, right? So if you're one of these people who thinks it's totally fine to leave your gun laying around so your child can reach it and then accidentally shoot themselves, there should be serious consequences for that. There should be a law ensuring that people are carrying out and practicing gun safety. That video, I obviously agree with what he was saying there, but that was a perfect example of what gun safety, of no gun safety. I don't care if it allegedly doesn't have any bullets. You don't know. Safety first. Stop putting your hand on the trigger. Stop waving it around. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, the whole time as he's going like this, I was like, any second he was gonna go boom, all right, and then we're gonna lose woke Pat Robertson in that moment. So look, don't get lulled into a sense of complacency about Robertson. Most of his opinions are still terrible, but
put the gun down.
I know. Anyway, please stop pointing it at people.
It's like
I'm
shaking
begging.
and everything.
Right. But look at the point he's making. He's like, look, they weigh different, they look different, they're not anything alike. So what he's doing is he's even questioning whether it was an accident. So if it was an accident, it's still second-degree manslaughter. But he's saying, I'm not sure it was. And he's asking, why are we randomly killing these innocent black people? And why are the cops doing it? And so then that made me think, I wonder if he's old enough that he's not on social media. And maybe he's not watching Fox News or whatever. So that's where people are getting radicalized, right? If they're watching and consuming right-wing media, and especially online 24/7, they're getting taught, they're getting brainwashed that cops killing innocent black people is perfectly good. That's acceptable, wonderful. Kyle Rittenhouse, vigilantes going and murdering black people and protesters in the streets. Is perfectly great. That's wonderful, right? And if he hasn't been exposed to that, he's like, ironically from the old school, like, wait, are cops supposed to murder black people for no reason? I didn't know we were doing that, right? Because he didn't get, maybe he just didn't get brainwashed by right-wing media in that way. Look, I'll tell you one last thing. If you're saying, hey, Cenk, there was no forlorn era in America where there was a golden time and stuff. It's way more complicated than that. Of course, there was no one golden era where everything was great. That's of course not true. But were things better in some ways and sometimes? Yes, I know because my dad came here in the 1960s as a Muslim immigrant, and he was welcomed with open arms. I mean, Americans, Republicans, Democrats, whites, blacks, it doesn't matter, Christians, etc. They were all incredibly kind to him. America was an unbelievably welcoming place. So in that regard, there's no question it got way worse, 1,000 times worse.
I mean, a perfect example of what the discourse was among Republicans is the debate between George H.W. Bush and Ronald Reagan on the topic of immigration. Watch it. The video is available on YouTube. Watch it. And it'll seem like it's two liberals debating what should be done on immigration. We have, in many regards, moved further to the right on issues, and immigration is certainly one of them. So check that out. And you're not wrong, Cenk. You're definitely right on that.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.